Hello, my name's Kelly O'Shaughnessy. I'm CEO of Environment Victoria, and
I'm Mark Wakeham, Campaigns Director at Environment Victoria.
And welcome to our very first monthly chat, really. We really just want to give you the inside scoop on what's going on, what we're up to, what's happening with the environment, so you know as much as we do, and we can make sure we get a healthy, strong environment for Victoria.
So what's going on at the moment, Kelly?
Well, a healthy, strong environment Victoria needs some investment, let's face it, and the budget, the state budget was recently released, environmentally...
What was in it?
Not a lot, unfortunately, and it's not funny, but I am trying to look on the bright side, because what else can you do? Look, there's not a lot in it for climate change. There's nothing in there really that shows how they'll reduce emissions, and they of course have promised to reduce emissions by 20% by 2020. There's nothing in there about how they'll save energy and water in homes, and they got elected on a cost of living basis. And there's no agenda for the environment in the state of Victoria. So we all know, of course, that the coalition got elected without a strong environment agenda, and it seems to be continuing. What's a real worry is that this is their first budget, but this is going to be their budget up until midway through, essentially, their term in government, and it hasn't got anything about the environment. So it's a real worry.
Yeah, and there were some really small piecemeal announcements. There was some funding for land care, there was some funding for public transport projects, and there was some funding for community environmental works, but there's just no overarching strategy, and so it's very hard to see how those bits of funding will make any difference at all. And as you say, it's just not clear that emissions will fall at all as a result of this budget, and they announced $47 billion worth of expenditure yesterday. So to spend that sort of money and have no idea whether it's going to drive emissions up or down is pretty irresponsible. Yeah,
in fact, actually, as a bit of an inside scoop, there was more money on graffiti, cleaning up graffiti, than there was on spending on clean energy. It was 18 million or something around that level for graffiti.
And I think horse racing got $79 million, which was far more than climate change, which actually didn't get mentioned by the Treasurer in his budget speech, which again is really disappointing. And I guess it's confusing because one of the overarching themes of the budget was that Victoria had been so hard hit by floods and fire, and that was one of the reasons why it was such a tough budget. And then to absolutely ignore the drivers for those weather events was really disappointing.
Yeah.
So moving on from the state budget then, we've had a very busy time working on the Price on Pollution campaign and also the campaign to save the Murray River. Very big decisions will be made on those in the next 8 to 12 weeks. It's really crunch time.
Yeah, 2011 is the year to save the Murray and the year to get the price on carbon, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we've had quite a lot of meetings with important decision makers. So Juliet, our Rivers campaigner, was paddling on Hatter Lakes with Tony Burke, the Federal Environment Minister, last week, and highlighting the need for a strong Murray-Darling Basin plan. You're meeting with Craig Knowles from the Murray-Darling Basin Authority?
Yes, next week, and also the Victorian Water Minister next week to get Victoria to start lobbying hard to save the Murray as well. And you're heading up to Canberra.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of meetings with key players in the price on carbon decisions that will be made, and we'll be highlighting that price on carbon needs to be replacing power stations like Hazelwood, and that it needs to be a strong price to be effective. But as well as doing all of that lobbying work and talking with decision makers, we're doing a lot of grassroots work. We've been really busy doing stalls out and about the place, demonstrating that there's community support for a strong price on carbon. And we're planning a big event on the 29th of May, which is Doorknock Day. So this is going to be Environment Victoria's World Environment Day events, and we'll be door knocking in the Prime Minister's seat, and also in the federal seat of Maribyrnong, which is Bill Shorten's seat. So two key players in the debates, and we'll be asking people in those electorates to support a price on pollution and a strong plan to save the Murray-Darling Basin.
So we're giving those people information, asking them to sign a petition, and we've been having success with that with our stalls. As soon as you give people the facts, then they're very supportive of saving the Murray and a price on carbon, because they know that will support a clean future for Australians. And if you're a little bit like me, I'm not wild about knocking on people's doors and and getting them to sign up on things. I want them to sign up on things, but I'm a little bit worried about knocking on people's doors. But we will be getting training from Environment Victoria on how to do that. And also, you don't need to be an expert in the issues. But what we do know is that lobbying is one thing, but if we don't have community support for what we're lobbying for, we're not going to get it. So we really do. Doorknock Day is a really essential thing for getting those two outcomes this year, price on carbon and saving the Murray.
That's right, and we'd really like you to register online at the Environment Victoria website so that we can plan all the logistics and make sure you have the training you need. And just to reinforce again, you don't need to be an expert on the issues. What we need is your enthusiasm and a bit of energy, and we'll provide you with all that you need. So that's the 29th of May. It's the start of a week of action around the price on pollution as well. There'll be a large rally in Melbourne on World Environment Day around the price on pollution. So, it really is the key mobilising time. We've got these two very big opportunities at the federal level, and I guess, with our state government dragging their heels, we need to make the most of these federal opportunities.
Yeah. All right, so this is the year. And the next few months are the most important, really, that we're going to be facing for a very long time for the environment. We're going to get some big outcomes. We'll keep you posted on what happens in the meetings we're having over the next few weeks, and we would love to see you on Doorknock Day, and we'll see you next month.
See you later.